Welcome back to Spitball and Cards. In today's video, we're talking about shipping nightmares. We are seeing more packages being stolen basically everywhere, but especially on their way to PSA for eBay authentication. Those have very specific addresses and they're being targeted by employees of various shipping companies. The main person that's kind of been really leading this charge is Victory Investments. Unfortunately, because he's experiencing this in live time, he's had two T206 Ty Cobbs stolen in the last month, one red and one green. Let me share my screen. And the reason I also want to make this video is because it's great to kind of give awareness around this for him. But if you want to check it out, he has these videos and he has other stories of other collectors. But the way that this happened to him was that he shipped the card in this priority mail express package, and someone slid it open. They left the air tag in, and then they put it in this We Care bag. I know that shouldn't make me giggle, but just it's pretty like a slap in the face, the We Care here. And it happened twice. So this happened twice. His cards were stolen. He got the notification for the first card he shipped before he shipped the second cob, and then his second cob was stolen as well. So we want to talk about just being careful, shipping cards appropriately, shipping horror stories, anything associated. Anything you guys want to add out of that intro?
One thing I just want to say, it's not surprising to me that these numbers have went up because the volume of cards that are going to and from PSA is exponentially larger than it was even a year ago.
Yeah,
I think in maybe it was Victory Investments video, he said that they were getting 3,000 to 4,000 packages a day for their just eBay authentication program. And so we're going to hear about it more. It's still such a tiny percentage, but you're right. If it affects you, it doesn't feel that tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say before we really get into this is just my initial reaction because of the authentication piece, like buying from eBay, shipping to eBay authentication. Several years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there was a situation where, whether or not this was true, I can't say for certain, but somebody told me they had it on good knowledge because they knew of a situation. One of the major auction houses basically like had a mole inside the company who knew of different packages that were being tracked and basically had a counterpart that could like receive them and steal them. Like, so there was like a coordinated effort with somebody in the auction house knowing exactly which cards were going where, so that another party that was somehow connected to them could steal them. And that's what like kind of came to mind for me with this. It's like even more than just the address being that like that way, like is it next level? Is it like, not only do I know that where this package is going and how to take it, but I also know like what the card is and that it's worth trying to take because it's a certain value or something to that effect. So that's something that like, as we talk about this, I just hope that both eBay and PSA are able to do a really thorough investigation into this and kind of connect the dots on which cards are being stolen and maybe who has access to that data or how that works. I don't know what kind of effort that would take. It's probably a heavy lift, but it's a piece that I think needs to be investigated or potentially like tightened up in terms of who can see these things.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Where is it just a numbers game, like you said, Jeff, where maybe it's like 0.01%, but it's just a larger percentage now because there's over 100,000 cards going through this program every single month? Or is it like Ty said, where there's something more nefarious going on? Either way, I think you can protect yourself by packaging the cards appropriately and discouraging things from being taken by doing so. Those standard envelope, no, what is it called? The priority mail envelopes are pretty easy to get into, but other boxes can be a lot tougher, especially if you tape around it a bunch, right? So you can do things to help, which is nice.
Right. But we're talking about different things, right? If it goes to the authentication, then you don't have any control over how it's packaged. If it's something you buy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's true.
At the mercy of how it goes.
And we've seen some bad shipping before.
Well, what I heard though is that I think they've been getting stolen before authentication.
Before they
meaning
get to
like you shipped it to authentication and it's getting stolen in transit there.
Right, but
It's
if you're
much harder.
shipping it, it's something that somebody bought from you. Typically, if you're shipping it to
Right,
authentication, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But
then
you
you're
need to protect that though, because if it gets lost, you're on the hook for the refund.
right.
I'm pretty sure you're
PSA,
refund.
eBay or PSA authentication, some combination of the two are on the hook if they received it and it gets stolen.
Yes.
I thought I saw There's a lot of I saw secondhand stories here. But when I was looking at people's stories, and this could have been a one-off situation that had more to it than they were saying, that needs to be noted. But apparently someone had PSA authenticated, they shipped it, and then PSA still forced them to do the refund or something. But I know PSA's terms don't say that, so I don't know how that works.
It's eBay's terms.
Sorry, eBay's terms. Thank you, Ty.
Yeah, they don't say that. No, I know actually a few people who have had that happen, and it sucked, but like they didn't have to worry about it.
I mean, it's such a small percentage for eBay, and the money's not huge. It's not a huge deal. So, Chris,
I had that situation happen to me. Like I sent a card to eBay, it was authenticated, they shipped it. The seller was like, "Well, I never got it," and it said received, and like they ship authentication stuff comes in their little eBay box. It was scanned, and he just kept messaging me, and I'm like, "Bro, it's out of my hands." Like I contacted eBay, and they're like, "It's nothing to do with you. You already got paid. Like it has literally nothing to do with the seller once eBay or once it's authenticated. Like you get paid, and you're scot-free."
Okay, well, that's good at least. So I guess my question for you guys is, how confident are you in the various shipping companies, right? So we have USPS, we have FedEx, and UPS. I have Collect Insure, which is like the big sports card insurance company.
Same.
You can look into them. I've heard negative things and positive things about people actually filing claims with them. I filed one claim but stopped it because the card eventually showed up, so I didn't have to actually file the claim. But some people say they're hard to pay out. Other ones say they're great. But they don't trust one of the three companies. I think they don't want you shipping with UPS.
Correct.
Like they will not cover you with UPS at all. So it must just be proportionally larger of lost packages. So they will cover you for USPS and FedEx as long as you pay for signature on the package.
Signature and Express.
Yes. Is it USPS? Express? Is that a new one?
It depends how high the value is. Like anything.
Priority mail still covered. I know that one too.
Yes, priority mail is covered, but not if you ship Express, you can get covered up to $40,000.
That's what it is. There's a certain price value. Yeah, there's a price value there. But the reason I bring this up is I think sometimes if you put like the insurance through USPS on the package, I think it puts a target on that package. You know, if it's like there's insured for 40 grand, it's always harder for me to trust that. So what I will do, you get your insurance through Collect Insure, then you can just ship cards and have a signature at the basic rate. So,
but I don't know. Like it doesn't show on the packing label, the shipping label, how much the package is insured for, and
the cost of the package goes up though.
Yeah, but you can choose whether or not to show it when you print it out. You can show the packet. The
That's
cost.
fair.
Yeah. Now I can't remember. I don't know, but with Collect Insure, like I haven't actually used them before, but I have recommended a lot of people to use them because I heard so many really good testimonials from people. I just felt comfortable with it over the years. And then all of a sudden in the last 3 months or so, I've heard multiple like really bad reviews. Like it seems like something changed maybe it's because like just from an actuarial perspective, maybe they've just been getting hammered because of how much theft is going on and it's not balancing out and they're having to fight it more. But if that's the case, you just need to recalibrate your costs and figure out a way to still support people and just balance it out so they're still profitable from an insurance perspective. But I like right now I wouldn't feel comfortable. And Victory, Sean actually said that he's had like at least one, maybe two bad experiences with Collect Insure, which is why he didn't use them for these particular packages.
Yeah.
So can you clear it up then? He was sending it to be authenticated because he sold it. That's the idea. He sold both of them.
Yep.
Sent them to okay.
Yep.
And then they never made it. They arrived in that. I'll show it again in this bag.
Yeah. So he was saying that you should avoid sending in like express mail packages.
Priority mail express packages.
Right.
At least in the folders, like you can get these boxes for free from the post office, which is not with the priority mails. So you can get those and really tape them up, and they're pretty secure. I mean, it's not going to stop anybody who has a razor blade to get into them, but he's harder than this.
I mean, it's a slice of a razor blade, even if it's taped up a lot.
They'll hold up better. What I like to do is you can
do something else, like put it put it in like I mean, first of all, it's much harder to steal like in any kind of an incognito fashion a large box than it is like an envelope. So I don't know. We obviously don't know how these are being taken elsewhere and like stolen, but I imagine if you have a large box, it's going to be much more difficult. But if you like put it in a large box and then put like a blanket in, or I mean, I don't know, and then just wrote like sweaters for the team on the outside or something, like just try to like do something to like veil it and make it seem like it's not a card. I don't know.
One time I've had one package stolen, and I sent a card to a guy who were sent to grading. So he was a middleman for grading for BGS, and the card was lost. It was never found, and it just stopped at his local post office. And he had like 5 or 6 packages stolen in that month from that post office. And the only card that was returned was my card. It was a Mookie Betts card, and I think it's just because they didn't know who it was. And it was not an autograph. It's like, yeah, you can have this one back. So I got lucky, but it happens there, and you see the theft all the time in news. So,
yeah, I'm not a big fan of UPS either. The one time I actually screwed up. I made a trade with someone, and I messed up my zip code when I just like transposed 2 numbers, and he went to UPS and they confirmed the address with an incorrect zip code, and then it was like confirmed delivered, and I don't know where it went, but it didn't go to my house. Like there aren't a lot of houses on my street, and my street only goes like 1 block and then like 1 block after that. So it's a 2-block street. No one had it. So we still don't know where that went.
Did you actually check, Chris, that the shipping address on the shipping label was correct?
Yeah, well, like, yeah, he sent me like a screen cap of it.
Oh, okay.
So I had that. I didn't really look at it very closely, and then I was like, oh wait, that zip code, like those 2 numbers are switched. But it didn't stop UPS from saying like, we got you.
So there's another scam too that came out recently where people are, I forget all the details. I wish I could remember where I saw this. Basically what's going on is somebody's shipping a package. So they sell you something on eBay, for example, and then they're shipping it to like a warehouse in the zip code area or something, or like a church, like it's basically to the wrong address, so that it's like shows as delivered, and then it gets like returned to sender or something. And then if people don't really look into it to see like if it was delivered, you know, there's like a debate. It's some kind of scam around that. It was like, just make sure if something shows as delivered at your house, like go the extra step to make sure that the tracking and the shipping label ties to your house, not to some like place close to where you are.
Gotcha.
Another scam, if you ever are doing any deals outside of eBay and you pay through PayPal, make sure you ship to the address on the goods and services. Because if you ship to a different address in the goods and services, they can find, if they gave you a different address, say they never received it, and PayPal will always side with the other person. So that's another one. Let's not pretend, though, that FedEx is great, because one time, this was relatively recent, I purchased a card from Bye Baby Cards Andy on Instagram, and it had my correct address. Actually, it was a P.O. box. I gave him a P.O. box, and he sent it through FedEx. So weird, because one's United States Postal Service and went through FedEx. But what they did is they did a Google search and sent it to the wrong Scott Baldwin, sent it to the wrong place. They just found my name and sent it to somebody else. And so I had to go to that person's house and track him down, and I got the card. But
have you considered having a less common name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Raptor?
Like Raptor. Scott Baldwin was like a bad guy in General Hospital back in the day. My parents still named me it for some reason.
Makes sense.
Interesting. So, yeah, I have a buddy of ours, Jeff, had a FedEx nightmare where he had 2 cards come back from PSA. They were both like a Chrome SSP and a flagship SSP. They got good. Oh, I'm sorry. They came back from BGS. Came back from BGS. They got really, I don't know why he subbed with them, but he did, neither here nor there. They got good grades. The FedEx driver left them. He has a long driveway. The FedEx driver left them in the driveway. And then when he K-turned to leave, he backed over the box on the way back and drove over it on the way out. So like he came home, he's like, I was excited to see his slabs, and there's a shattered box on the on the driveway.
How does that payout work? FedEx paid him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think BGS paid him back. I think, but I'm not 100%. But he's never seen those 2. He never had a chance to buy those 2 cards again.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
So how do we, this is more of an awareness video, I guess. How do we prevent this from happening to us? Package in a box, make it harder to get into. I think that's fair to say. Anything else you guys would add?
If you can drive even like 6 hours to get to a show, to drop these things off and get them in someone at PSA's hands, and then they give you like a receipt of pickup, and it's their fault from that point on. Like, at least you're covered in that way. It's worth your peace of mind, even if you spend an entire day in the car. I think that's totally worth it.
Well, so that's definitely I mean, if you can get there and go, that's definitely the best way to do it. It's tough if you're like on the East Coast and you're like, oh, I'm not going to fly to California to like go.
But they do some PSA subs at shows.
They do, yeah. If you can track one of those down, but like, there's the different. It's like the different scenarios, right? If you sold a card on eBay and you need to send it to authentication,
you have to.
And that's tough because you can only do so much. If it's an individual card, like I said, maybe you could put it into a bigger package. The thing Sean did is he had an air tag in the package, and that's smart. It didn't stop it. Like you can track where the package goes, and it tracked to some like nondescript warehouse in California where the package was opened, the air tag was discarded, and the card was taken. But at least you have something to point to, maybe to help the FBI or cops or whoever's going to be looking into this to like track down the package. This is like an NCIS origins thing, by the way, Jeff. Get this to your wife and get it into the script. But I think if you're sending like a single card outside of that, like to a third party, I don't know if this would be a good idea through eBay. But like, let's say I was just sending a card to you, Jeff. Like you bought a card from me that's very expensive and I'm worried about it and I want to make sure it gets there okay. Air tag's a great idea. And then like another next step could be like you buy something like one of these Vault Tech, things that you could put a card into with the air tag and then track it. And I just give you the code to open it. Does that stop somebody beyond that? I don't know. Could they bust into it? Probably. It's tough, but like maybe they would have a harder time getting into it to where if I realize that the package is off track, let's say, like I have the air tag, I can like get it to the local authorities and say like, please go get this card. Somebody took it. Maybe they actually get to it in time. I don't know.
The good thing about that, Ty, is people aren't going to bust that open most likely at work. So if they take that with them and there's an air tag inside, you can see the last location. So that does give you better odds.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to convince somebody that it's worth tracking down, unless you're gonna drive across country yourself.
If it's like a $40,000 card or even a $5,000 card, that's a big enough threshold where I think they could do something about it.
Yeah, maybe.
If it's like $200, you're definitely not going to have any help from law enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, Nat Turner had all of his cards stolen out of his car in a backpack, a bunch of like EMPs and stuff, and the cops found him in Encino or somewhere in California. I don't remember where he was, but.
Wow. That was a huge amount of money in that backpack.
Yeah. And they found the guy.
Yeah, I think a lot of specifically these mail issues, the mail fraud or FedEx, UPS, it seems more like most of them are happening to and from PSA. So it's less likely if we're sending each other cards, unless they're really advertising that it's a card. Those are less likely to fall prey to these kind of scams. But just with the volume going to and from PSA, like several of the videos have pointed out, everybody knows those addresses. So everybody around Santa Ana that's delivering FedEx packages or UPS or mail knows that address. So they know what's in there, even though it doesn't say PSA on the box, they still know. So that's the hard part, getting it to and from. That's the where it's going to happen the most often.
Another reason to try to not sell through eBay. You can sell it privately. It's always better. Use Facebook groups, use Instagram. I will always be an advocate for doing that first. Helps you save money. Usually makes life easier. Plus, you can make a connection with somebody else and get to know people better. So just a thought. But you can get scammed. So be careful because you don't have the eBay protections. You got to make sure you're doing goods and services always for both parties. And make sure that like if you can get vouchers for somebody, it's always good, especially if you're buying someone's cards. So, okay, you feel good about this topic? Anything else you want to discuss?
No, now I'm just like antsy and uncomfortable.
It is. It's really uncomfortable.
It's nightmare fuel, really. I mean, like when you send anything to PSA, Jeff and I get this alert like signed for in the lobby or arrived at lobby. And then you wait like 3 weeks before PSA is like, hey, we got it.
Yep.
And the whole process is just very stressful.
Yeah, that's something that PSA could improve is just, I know they say it takes forever to get checked in, but they could streamline that process so you at least know it's in safe hands there. It's kind of
yeah, they should add
quite
a step
knuckling it
before
until
check-in.
you find out it's actually in the system.
Yeah.
Yep. I just
So-
had the same thing. I sent my first package to Fanatics Collect, and it was several hundred cards. And I sent it registered mail, and I packaged it. It was 2 submissions. It was some raw cards that'll go through the CGC thing, and I'll figure out what to do with them. And then it was graded stuff too. So 2 boxes inside that I secured and taped, like honestly, majorly taped shut. Like box cutter will take it open, but I just was like, I don't want to mess around. And then it went inside with a lot of padding and other stuff, bubble wrap and paper and all that. And then inside of their big box for registered mail, and they put their like dyed, tamper-proof tape on the outside of it and everything. And I tracked it the whole way. I'd pay like $230 for shipping because the insurance was so high and everything. And it went and it showed delivered on Halloween. And then I didn't get like the notification of anything until yesterday, maybe Saturday. I got a notification from a sales rep who was like, "Hi, I'm your sales rep," but like didn't say anything about my package. And then like I went on their website and saw that they were received. But I was just like the whole time I'm just like sitting there like it shows it was delivered. So, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
wasn't
have
going
you
to fly
guys-
all the way to Oregon,
PSA says in their description about like how to package stuff, they always say like use a new box, like a new priority box or a new express box. I tend to do the exact opposite. I will reuse shipping materials like over and over until they're like falling apart to where the package is like 80% tape. And I'm wondering if that helps or hurts. Like I tape the shit out of these things. So it's effort if someone wants to get in there. But I'm wondering if these potential thieves look at my garbage box and are like, well, this guy can't even afford gas to go to the post office to get a new box. So there can't be anything good in here. So maybe that's like a way around, try that. See if that keeps your stuff safe.
What about if we just like coordinated with the post office to start sending out some of these exploding die packs inside packages, Somehow there'd have to be an indication on the package for PSA not to open the package, but I always get a kick out of that when people put these like booby-trapped packages on their front porch waiting for thieves to steal them and have them explode on them.
It's like that Mark Rober video.
That actually did happen in the latest NCIS video or movie episode.
Yeah.
Jeff did know the most about this. He's a cop, at least on TV.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get out of the basement much, though. I don't know how much real life experience. I don't know how much mail experience.
Yeah. And I'll remind you that PSA was getting very few cards in 1992.
That's
That's fair.
Not
as much mail experience as Chris.
Depending on your spelling, you're right either way.
We have a Patreon that's $10 a month. Inside of the Patreon, you get 1 video extra a week. This week, it's going to be Chris and I talking about something we haven't figured out quite what yet, but it's going to be awesome. It's always good to hear from Chris and hear his thoughts.
It'll just be a flirtatious 15 minutes. That's all it's going to be.
Some people pay $10 just to hear Chris. So for what it's worth, you'll hear that. But you also get access to our Discord. Inside of the Discord, you're going to be connecting with like-minded collectors. I think we have like 100 people in here right now, and it's always growing, and people are always being added. But here's what it looks like. I'm going to show Matty H's pickup that he posted. Let me scroll all the way down. Which one? Right here? This one?
I was actually the one before, but that one, I like this one as well. Like, so the 2 people posted these Yamamoto image variations. Yeah. This one is from Topps Chrome Update, and it's his first like flagship card that isn't like him with a microphone or him at a podium or him in a sweatshirt. He's actually on the field. It looks like he's catching a first pitch. I don't recall from who.
I bet we could look it up. That's cool, though.
I'm sure we could look it up, but I like this card. I like that it's horizontal. It looks cool. And then above this one, our buddy Matty H posted, yeah, there you go, his Stadium Club, which I think this is his only rookie image variation where he's actually on the field.
Wow.
In uniform. Yeah.
In uniform. Yep. Good call, Jeff. Yeah. So this card is great. I'm a big fan of this one.
This is reminiscent of a very cool Shohei Ohtani photo from Stadium Club in, what is that, 2022?
It might be. I think it's an image variation. I know what you're talking about. There's an image variation of him the year before, 2023. Is similar to.
Yeah.
Yeah, very pumped up. But yeah, I like this card a lot.
But you're gonna, if you are interested, here's Chris loving this one in live
Yeah.
time. You can see this text, probably pretty small. But you're gonna be able to hear and talk to like-minded collectors. We have a new product release section where we talk about these new product releases and if we're targeting those types of things. A general one where you can talk about anything baseball, off-season moves, and news section.
Yeah.
So we have a whole
Cards.
bunch of different stuff, and we're introducing more constantly. So that is a part of the
Yeah, Phil wants to start a channel just about like hair growth supplements. So that's probably going to get going in the
Look
next
forward to
week.
that.
or so.
Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be a good one.
at least at what 60% of the spitballing team is follically challenged. So how have you guys kept your hair so long? That's what I want to know.
It's going. It's going.
They
a
got
little
that
bit.
secret juice out in LA.
Yeah, you guys, is this natural or you guys take a trip to what country is that? Romania, where they do those hair transplants?
Let's ask Phil. I think it's
They do
Turkey.
that in LA.
Turkey. It's Turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris is
I don't have kids, so my hair stayed, but I got married, so it turned gray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what my excuse is.
Rocky's fandom. It's
There we go.
Ah,
There we go.
Just wouldn't stick
Mhm.
around.
Okay. Ty has 5 kids. So he has good excuses.
Yeah, I
this was
absolutely.
gone well before any of them. I still managed a wife and 5 kids with this, so I can't complain.
Well, that's
All-
good. You're not wasting any testosterone up here, Ty. It's all being put to better use.
That you could say.
But he has a billion kids, so it sure is. All right. So let's wrap this one up. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next episode, and we'll see you later.